Kia ora, my name is Henare. I'm an educational consultant and ontological coach working within AHO International, which is a company founded and directed by myself here in New Zealand. I have a passionate commitment to the education sector for teachers, leaders and learners, that they have the experience of being able to transform the education that they experience both within classrooms and without. So I was introduced to the Being profile as a service manager in an educational setting. What really resonated with me about the Being profile is its ability to be able to unconceal or unfold areas of my life that I potentially may not be present to or may not have an awareness of. So when I was introduced to the Being profile, I was curious. I was intrigued about how this tool could bring sight to areas where I was blinded in terms of my own professional performance and practice. So I did the Being profile and it was extraordinary. What unfolded before my eyes was not only the experience that I had of myself, but actually how others experienced me as a leader, as a manager, and even in my family, personal relationships, was able to uncover areas that helped me to source very quickly, areas to intentionally bring myself into, performance in a way that would help me feel empowered and really enhance who I was authentically and what I was committed to out there in the world with others. So what really intrigued me about the Being profile and participating inside of being able to complete a Being profile for myself as an educator and an educational leader was it was able to give me a holistic view of areas of my life or ways of being that were actually impacting the experience that others had of me, and ultimately to be able to produce the results that I really wanted for the students, the learners, and also for the teachers and leaders that I was committed to serving and developing professionally. The Being profile for me was, I guess, a catalyst in being able to embrace change in a way that was sustainable, in a way that was very intentional, that I could purposely and deliberately take on areas of my authenticity, areas of accountability, areas of responsibility to ensure that I got the best results that I really wanted to thrive in the area of education that, would really be the most impactful for the world and for the areas in which I work. So in the last 25 years that I've been in the education sector, my experience of that is there have been highs and lows. I've experienced highs in being able to work really productively and in a way that has, inspired and actually liberated a lot of educators around their work and also leaders. And I felt fulfilled. But there have been times when that has not been the case. So here we were as a, leadership body, working with teachers who were having the experience of feeling disempowered. We had created a huge investment, at least $17,000 in one given year, to really empower and support our staff to be able to get the professional development, to really reignite their passion for teaching and continue to build upon their skills. And in spite of this investment, this huge investment of time, resources, and the revenue actually even to be able to produce this kind of opportunity for the staff that we were working with, the experience was week to week that teachers would still come in feeling burnt out, feeling like there was a presence of despair even. I'm not good enough, I don't know if I can do this, I don't think I'm a very good teacher, the students aren't listening, I'm getting massive behaviour issues with the learners, and I just don't know where to go. And so in spite of that huge investment, my experience was we've done all that we can with what we have, and it has enhanced it somewhat, but it wasn't shifting the dialogue that they have with themselves around who they're being inside of this, valuable work as a contributor, as a teacher, inside of education. I can particularly think of a real success example of working with a teacher who had the experience of feeling disempowered, a lack of confidence, despairing about even whether the teaching profession was for her. In spite of her training and her qualifications, she came to me looking for, some coaching around whether she should change career, whether she would look to enhance what she's already done. And actually, that first being profile that was delivered to the first teacher was really inspiring to me, is to be able to have someone in that position come and do a being profile. And I remember actually going through the debrief, which is an opportunity to sit with a client who is completed the being profile and go through the areas of their ways of being and look at these aspects in a way that has them, distinguish for themselves, where they can see that this is a realisation in their life. And she particularly said to me on this occasion, and at first she was not really speaking in words, but she was so moved. I noticed first the tears in her face as we were speaking about the distinction confidence. And she started to get really moved. She reached for a tissue and asked to be excused while she wiped the tears away. And I asked her, where is this true for you, where you don't have the experience of feeling confident in who you are authentically? And she unfolded a number of areas where this shows up, and particularly began with her teaching work, and feeling like at times she's trying to fake it till she makes it, try and pull lessons together from nothing, feeling ill-prepared, and just not feeling like she was giving 100% to the students and the learners that she was committed to serving. What we uncovered in that being profile was so profound, that she was able to see that she actually is a phenomenal teacher. But what she was present to is the impact of not being in communication with her colleagues and not being in communication with the leadership within her school setting, and being able to really be acknowledged and to share both the highs and lows in a way that has her feel like she was contributing, and to be able to get the acknowledgement that she needed for the work that she was doing. So I came away from that being profile thinking, if I could have this experience with 100 other teachers, just imagine out of every teacher in a classroom of 35 children and students, what a massive difference that would make when you've got a teacher standing in front of the room, bringing real authentic presence and joy and appreciation and knowing their worth and knowing that what they're contributing to students is really making a difference in the world, as opposed to surviving something and having to, force things to make it work. So I really started to see the enormous value that the being profile could have as a platform to catapult teachers and leaders upon, so they could really start to look authentically at the areas of their personal and professional life that could really amplify the things that they're committed to and passionate about in the world. So I first heard about the Being Profile Accreditation Program through a dear colleague of mine, and I was curious. I was uncertain as to whether it would be relevant to me. The way that I had heard it was the accreditation program is to support coaches around the Being profile and being able to debrief it with proficiency, with CEOs and executives, senior executives, and the areas of business. And businesses was not my forte at the time that I was first introduced to it. And I was uncertain as to whether it's something that I wanted to do. And in conversation with Genesis, I was able to, speak into who I am as a commitment in the education sector. And, they said absolutely, at the moment we don't have anyone that works in this area, and this could definitely be something that could really produce some phenomenal results for you in the work that you're doing. So I took that on with great fervour. I was like, okay, if I'm the first one to do this, I'm always excited to be able to break into a new area. So I, registered for the Being Profile Accredited Program and attended the 2 full-day sessions. And I've done a lot of professional development in a lot of areas of education and management and leadership. And when I did those 2 days, I had the experience of knowing myself at a deeper level than I had previously. And more importantly, what I was able to develop was I was able to be able to be with others in a way that really got to the core of things and the things that mattered to them, and to be able to work as a co-inquirer and discovering those things that would really make a difference in what they were up to. So predominantly I came into the Being Profile Accreditation Program to work with teachers, educational leaders, and what I've discovered is that I've actually been able to use the Being Profile in areas of business with people who are in startup, where they're looking to overcome some of those areas of their life that have them be stopped, the areas where they feel anxious or even fearful about changing the direction of their life, and being able to pursue something that they've newly been excited or passionate about. So I've been able to expand the way that I use the profile in life coaching, in the areas of career and business, as well as the work that I do in educational consultancy and coaching. And I find that in every conversation, though the domain or area of life may be different from one person to the next, the Being Profile is a tool, a powerful tool that helps to get to the core of who we are as human beings, and has us in partnership transform those things that has us be stopped, so that we get to fulfill on the things that we are creating and things that we're passionate about building in life. So on completion of the Being Profile Accreditation Program, I was ecstatic at the opportunity to enroll into and register for the Thrive Coaching Program. It was 13 weeks. It was alongside my studies and my master's degree. So I was like, it would take something to do this. Like, I have a number of things that I'm involved in, projects, and part of the United Nations committee. There was a lot going on in my life, and in spite of all of that, I created a clearing to participate in the Thrive Coaching. And I can remember it vividly, on the first call online with a cohort of coaches and people who were wanting to develop themselves as a coach. And I remember saying, who I'm being right now on this call is hungry. Like, I was just hungry for the depth of knowledge and understanding around areas of, the ways that we are in life, the ways that that are our primary ways of being, and the ways that others experience us and the things that we do in life. And so I was like, give it to me. Whatever you, whatever you got, I want it. And you know, what an incredible investment that has been in terms of time. I mean, the resource to do that. But my experience definitely was getting at least tenfold back, if not more, from that participation. I was able to, you know, really consider who I see myself as a coach. I had been coaching in a pedagogical sense, so in the teaching and learning domain of coaching, and I was very proficient at being able to coach in that area and produce results. But ontological coaching, when you're looking at, you know, unfolding for people and unconcealing with people ways of being and their way of being in the world, there is nothing like it. I have never seen this kind of technology, this kind of philosophy being used in the way that the Thrive Coaching does. I have been extraordinarily blessed, that's all I can say, with the privilege of being able to participate in a community of coaches that have a sharp ontological focus in the work that they do with their clients and coachees. And I have experienced elevation, inspiration. I have brought vulnerability, authenticity to the table in each of those conversations that had me really get centered, and had the presence week to week of just generosity and gratitude in a way that had profoundly impacted not only my professional life but also my personal and family relationships. There's no doubt I have completed those programs and am no longer the person that I was 13 weeks ago. Now that I've completed the Thrive Coaching Program, you know, the opportunities and the openings that this type of, you know, training and accreditation has given me the ability to be able to expand my influence in the world. Within AHO International, educational opportunities now online, it makes it globally accessible to be able to, you know, be in schools in a totally different country, to be able to train teachers and leaders across, you know, continents and seas in a way that we have not presently been able to experience. And Thrive Coaching has given me the confidence to be able to do this online and not have there be any restraints or constraints that I either have of myself or of technology or of others out there in the world, and that I can, with pristine precision, be able to speak into the listening of people around the world and have it affect change in a rippling way, in a way that you know is being able to reach the ears, the hearts, and the minds of students, learners, leaders, teachers all over the world. That's what I am, you know, that is what I see, and that is what I'm experiencing now as an absolute having as a result of the training that I've received through Ingenesis. Now, if you're a coach, the coaching program that Ingenesis offers, the Thrive Coaching, really I encourage you to take this on. If you've been, you know, trained in other, you know, technologies or methodologies that really has caused you to be a successful coach in the business that you now have, consider taking on Thrive Coaching to further enhance the work that you do. If you consider it as an additional layer that can really bring the weight of value to your work. I know for sure it's definitely brought that to me. Being a pedagogical coach and adding the layer of ontology on top of it has allowed me to not only coach where skills, practice and performance have been transformed, but with an ontological perspective, be able to provide an in-depth understanding of who people are inside of their work. So I really encourage you to take that on and have that be alive for you in your life and in your coaching work. And if you're a leader and you are extraordinarily good at what you do, you're able to influence and build teams, create teams around you, and be able to create cultures that really influence the environments in which you work. The Being Profile, the coaching programs that Ingenesis offers, gives you a new level of performance and leadership that is world class, like it's second to none. Being able to provide that next level of performance for the staff and the leaders that you work with would really make a profound difference, I believe, for the organisations that you participate in and the communities that you're involved in. So look, for me, coming into the Being Paid program, I came into the program with a lot of concerns. I was coming out of full-time work and going into full-time coaching and consulting inside of my business. I knew it was a necessity to be able to really get the extra skills around how to market the being profile in a way that was in service of what I was committed to. And so, I came in thinking, this is going to take something for me to be able to narrow the focus on the niching the market for me, looking at the way that I created my brand, looking at the value that I place in terms of the way I communicate the work that I do, and being able to distinguish clearly, with clarity, what the Being Profile and its programs have done in terms of the services and products that I now can offer. The Being Paid program for me was, with a lot of like-minded people who were confronted in different areas of life, that were committed to building wealth and being able to do it using the things that they really love and things that have made a difference for them. I particularly remember the story that I had actually coming into the program. The story was, there's a ton of people like me out there. In New Zealand, we're really well known for education. There's a ton of consultants. There's a lot of people mentoring and doing leadership opportunities. And I'm going to be one fish in the ocean of many. And when I did the Being Paid profile program, I was able to really narrow the focus into my market and what it was that I was producing that was so unique and so different to what anyone else was doing here in New Zealand or abroad. I got to see real value in that, in terms of the top tier of my business market, that there's no one in New Zealand currently doing what I'm doing with the tools that I have now from the Being Paid program and the Being Profile itself, including the coaching systems and methodologies that we use. So it's been extraordinary for me. I'm now negotiating consultancy contracts at a higher level than I would have in the past. I'm looking at expanding my coaching packages so that they include the real value in being able to communicate the outcome and the results that I can promise clients and coaches from this work. And all this was, founded inside of the Being program, paid program. So look, if you're an educator or a teacher, or you're in a sphere of influence where children are in your listening, where children are present to who you are, I really encourage you to be able to, get access to a Being profile, take that on, to be able to uncover those areas of your life that you may not be present to, and really build awareness around those things that could have you be masterful as a teacher in your life, have you experience yourself beyond what you believe yourself to be. The Being profile will do that for you, and in the masterful and skillful way that Being profile practitioners provide that level of listening, you'll be able to uncover things and dissipate actually the areas that have you be stopped, and to be driven by the things that you're most passionate about and you're most committed to.